Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Up to the start of this program, I have been watching the House Intelligence hearings. I have never been more embarrassed about the way our country is going and the way the Democrats are taking us over a cliff. Shame. Shame on them. And especially the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff. Totally. And you can check it out yourself. Totally lying at the beginning of these hearings and distorting the truth, distorting the phone calls that were made by President Trump and President Zelensky. This is sick and perverted, and it needs to be stopped. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. I certainly hope that God will bless America again, but the way things are going, I don't see how he can. My goodness, Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday morning. Good morning to you. And, of course, brought to you by our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a great big fall tire sale. Stop in and see those good people today. And don't forget some of our great advertisers, too, like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. Let's have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless you, Nancy, and thank you so much. You did a great job. We'll see you at Lunch Bunch today. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Time for the weather. And as you can tell, I'm just a little bit... I'm on the wire. I'm on the wire right now, balancing between totally losing my temper at the idiocy that's going on in Washington, D.C. Caller, you're going to have to wait a second. I'm on the air right now with the weather forecast. I'll be right with you. Do not hang up. Our weather brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn on the Burley-Paul Highway. All the tools and equipment to get the job done for you. Please, long and short-term rental, give them a call. They're there. 678-3122, K&R Rental. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Weather for today is going to be nice, but as we get on into the weekend, you might want to think about pulling your garden. Here's the look at your weather forecast. We are expecting sunny skies for today. Winds out of the southwest at about 10 miles an hour are going to be increasing by this afternoon. Gusts as high as 30 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 75 tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 45 tomorrow. Mostly cloudy skies, then hopefully sunny by the afternoon. Still going to be breezy, high of 67. We do have a 40% chance of rain showers for Friday evening, increasing clouds throughout the night with a low of 69. Then for the weekend, 50% chance of showers are going to be in the forecast. Highs are going to be in the low 50s, lows in the low 30s. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at Durant.
Gonna get chilly, and that global warming, Al Gore and the rest of his crony phonies, I'll tell you what. Hey, listen, K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hebron. They're right there, easy to find on the Burley-Paul Highway, 678-3122, the number to call. Please get a hold of them for all the best of tools and equipment that you need. K&R Rental. Caller, I'm going to put you on here, but I can't talk long because I've got to get the Burley Livestock Report on. You've been waiting patiently. Quickly, go ahead.
Yes, Zeb, I did get to listen a little bit yesterday about what the conversation was, the phone transcript. There wasn't anything mean or anything on there at all that should get him into trouble. However, the left has said before, and they're going to say it again, they will do anything, go to any means to impeach this great president that we have because he doesn't follow lockstep with their agenda.
Let me just tell you something, young man. You're spot on. I listened and have read everything, and I'm not a stupid person. I can comprehend what I read. I've got copies, multiple copies of the phone conversations. I've got copies of the whistleblower report. I've got everything. And to hear Adam Schiff, that little Weasley, mousy-eyed California representative that's the head of the Intel Committee as the chairman, get up and lie. This man lied in his opening remarks, and I am so incensed that this is the kind of government bureaucracy. There's a word I want to use, and I can't. Let's just say baloney that's being perpetrated on the American public. I am incensed. We need to stop this garbage now.
I wish we could kick them out, but the only way we can kick people out from California is if...
Always appreciate your call, Riley. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you, man. Caller number 2, please give me the patience of having our livestock report first, and I'll come right back to you. Merv May, come on in here if you would, please, as we talk about the Burley Livestock Sale Yard.
All right. It gets the steer calves. They're here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32.
Attaboy, Merv. I'll tell you what, that's the world's best auctioneer at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-941-9411 for all your cattle consignments and sale information. I'll say it again, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade, Rogge, Lance, Udy at the sale that works for you. Talked to Merv last night. He said the Kirkdall down at Ruby Valley, Nevada. Got a lot of friends down in that neck of the woods. He's bringing in 80 head of really good 500 to 600 pound calves. Dale Price over at Malad. Hello, Malad, bringing in a trailer load of 800-pound Holstein steers. Butcher cows coming through the ring from Acme Dairy and Antelope Hills Dairy, along with the trailer line run, 11 o'clock starting time at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. You better be there today at 11 o'clock, the sale that works for you. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, it gets the steer calves. They're here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, and I sell them $35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
I appreciate it, Merv. Caller, you've waited patiently. Go ahead, please, quickly.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. This is about Nancy Pelosi. In order to preserve her power that she's got there in Washington, caving in to the young bunch of socialists and communists that are in the new Democratic Party. And that really upset me. That's the only reason why she went and started this impeachment thing, just to save her power.
Tony, I don't know if you've had the time, and Wheels, if you can boost what's sent down the line to me a little bit, just a touch, please. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the opening remarks of this absolute weasel, this mouse of a man, Adam Schiff. I have absolutely no respect for him whatsoever. He distorted, he lied, and he changed the facts of what were in that phone call with President Zelensky of Ukraine. I don't know. I don't know how anybody, and I mean this, Tony, how anybody could go to the polls and vote for a Democrat with a lying, absolutely evil and wicked background like they have.
We're headed down the road to destruction unless something, I don't know what it's going to take to break the power and the stranglehold that this Democratic Party has this younger generation that can't wait to bring in socialism and communism into this country.
I agree.
I don't understand it.
I agree, and I'm going to be talking about it for the first hour this morning and then continually off and on through the remaining hours of the show. But thank you, Tony, for your call. You're a true patriot, and I respect you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Zeb.
And that's one part of this program I'm going to emphasize. Doggone it, I'm not going to sit here on this fight alone for what's right and wrong in this country. We're heard all over the doggone country, and I don't have to make any backup on that whatsoever. We have listeners all over Texas, Arizona, New York, Washington, D.C., and I'm going to stand proud for what this president, what this administration, and what this country is trying to do under its current leadership. And the absolutely marshmallow-mouthed Democrats that would lie at the drop of a hat, as a matter of fact, the hat doesn't have to hit the ground. This is repulsive. I listened intently to what Schiff said when he started off this hearing, and he totally, and I dare anybody to tell me I'm wrong because I've got a transcript, I listened to this and he totally lied as to what was said and gets away with it. 11:30 today, we're going to be at, of course, America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley. Best of breakfast and lunch and dinner. And, of course, if you haven't tried those strawberry vanilla crepes, oh my, they are good. Stop in for the breakfast menu, lunch menu, dinner menu, desserts, anytime, all the time at Denny's Restaurant. And we're going to be there at 11:30. It's red, white, and blue day today. Be proud of who we are in this United States. I want everybody to wear red, white, and blue. Gift certificates from Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, and Denny's. We'll see you at Denny's Restaurant at 11:30 today. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Also, a big thank you and a shout-out to Ramsey Heating and Electric for all they do, all they have done, and all the years that they have been on this program. Thank you so much, because they are your headquarters for all, underline that word, it's true, all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. Absolutely. They're located at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And, of course, the number to call, 678-0459. They open at 7:30 in the morning till 5, Monday through Friday. Over 6 decades, dang near 7 decades of professionalism serving you. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I'm like you. I'm infuriated about this whole situation. McGuire, I listened to his bio before they started tearing him down, and he seems to be a very honest and reliable person. However, Adam Schiff is about the most disgusting person that I can think of, because he evidently was a prosecuting attorney, and he did not ask questions. He interrogated him, and I just think that is so wrong. Playground should be equal. That one there, he was totally in charge and being a bully.
Yeah, Keith, I can't stand, and if anybody's offended by this, that's totally your problem, not mine. I can't stand anybody that will distort the facts to try to get their point across. I can't stand them. I don't want to be around them. I don't like them. And Adam Schiff is nothing more than a weasel. He's absolutely a rodent because of the way he opened up those hearings. I don't know if you heard it or not. He totally, and I've got that transcript right in my hands. I was listening to him. He totally turned around everything that was said in that phone conversation for the Democrats' benefit and for the insulting of Donald Trump, the insulting of the witness this morning, Joseph McGuire, and the insulting of our own minds. This man is absolutely repulsive.
Yes. but he's got a big microphone, and he's reaching a lot of people, and some of them are listening to the darn snake.
Yeah, let me tell you what he does have. Let me tell you what he does have, Keith Cottom. He's got a shotgun mouth, but a BB gun brain.
I think you're overstating. I don't think he's quite that good.
Well, I'm just really upset about this, because if you're going to be at a hearing and you're going to be asking for the truth, and you start off the hearing by lying with innuendos and complete distortion of the facts, what the heck good is that hearing, Keith Cottom?
I don't know. But speaking of Biden, this is terrible, because they're making Biden out to be the victim.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm so sick and tired of hearing this Joe Biden, Hunter Biden baloney. Let's just call a spade a spade. Joe Biden's kid is a drug addict. Joe Biden's kid is an alcoholic. He's a nothing. He's a nothing burger. He's never accomplished anything in his life. If it wasn't for riding Daddy's coattails when Daddy was a senator and also now running for the presidency, and also when he was the vice president, Hunter Biden would be a nobody still.
Well, the thing I don't understand, Zeb, let's go back to the beginning, because the President of the United States had a conversation with the President of whatever.
Ukraine.
But anyway, he told it like it was. He congratulated the man for being elected. He had a very, very civil conversation with him. And not once did he say, I'm going to withhold funds till I find
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. I've got the transcript. I've got it so dog-eared, and I've got it so highlighted. It was a very cordial, and I'll underline that word. I would love, honestly, right now, I would love to be sitting there in that witness chair looking at Adam Schiff. I would like to blow up his little carnival balloon. This is absolutely repulsive. President Trump, and I've read this and reread this, was so polite, so cordial. There was no pressure. There were no demands. And listen to this. If you read it, it was Zelensky that brought up about talking to Rudy Giuliani and investigating this. It's right there on the third page, and I don't know how much more clear it could be. I'm fed up with the lies that the Democrats are purporting. And you know what, Keith? I hope that this next election that Trump wins in a landslide, and the Democratic Party just goes, poof, it's gone, like a puff of smoke.
This is called making it up as you go along.
You got it. I got to run. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you. You know, folks, listen. This is our country. This is your kid's future. And this garbage from the Democrats, I wish the Democrat had the backbone and spine to call into this program. I have urged them for years. You know, the local chapter of the Democratic Party. Oh, the leadership here in Magic Valley. Or the state. But they won't, because they're like little bitty mice. And they only come out at night. And they go around and find the cheese. But they can't call, because they haven't got the backbone. Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. And believe me, they will and can very capably take care of the health of your animals. Whether you have a little bitty kitty cat or puppy dogs. By the way, for the dogs, it is really time, if you haven't already, to make sure they've had their fall vaccinations. And there's been some cases of pyro around the area. Very deadly for dogs. Please take care of that. And they are a mixed animal practice, large and small. They take care and love them all. Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. They have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Caller, I'll be right there, I promise. I also want to remind everybody about our friends at Dino Septic Service. You know, when you start an ad for a septic service, everybody goes, what? Yeah, well, it's a part of life that we don't want to do. And they're there to serve us with septic tank pumping and liquid waste removal, sewer and sink drain lines cleaned, all of this and so much more. And I urge you to call them at 436-6526 or 678-1638. I know firsthand they've helped us. Fast, fair, friendly service, and they pull in the yard with a big truck that says smells cargo on the way to serve you. Dino's Septic Service. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go, please.
Good morning, Mr. Bell. Have you ever noticed that the eyes of all these Democrats are just like they are bugging right out of their head like a crazy person? Their hatred for Trump is so prevalent in their minds, they can't think of anything else.
Let me ask you a question due to the fact that you and I are fairly close to the same age. What happened in 1998?
What happened?
Yeah.
Well, hell, I don't remember what of it.
All right, think very carefully, because 1998, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, and Joe Biden all stood up and railed and tore their hair out and screamed that the Republicans should not impeach Bill Clinton.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't know, Zeb. I don't know how this is going to get fixed. I just know that they all need to go lay on some psychiatrist's couch and figure out what the heck they're trying to do. They can't prove anything. They've never proved anything.
Donna, if you did you read the conversation?
No.
All right. I'm going to urge you and all my listeners, take the time as Americans and read this. I have read it. Deanne can verify this. I've read it so many times, the papers are already worn out, and I got it yesterday morning. And I've highlighted everything. There is no pressure. There is no pressing. There is no demanding. There are no ultimatums in this thing whatsoever. And the Democrats are basing their whole case this morning on this hearing as they interrogate Joseph Maguire on lies and innuendos. And if that's what our government is coming down to right now, for the next year and 3 months before we go to the 2020 elections, where nothing is going to get done for us, nothing is going to get done for our security, nothing is going to get done on the border, nothing. What in the world are we paying these clowns for, Donna?
I don't know, Zeb. I don't have the answers either. I just know that, as I watch them, and I did listen to some of the recording, I didn't hear anything on there. They play little blips of it on the news. I didn't hear anything other than one president calling another president, congratulating him on his election, and I don't even remember hearing Biden's name pulled up.
Oh, no, it's in there. But the problem is, the gist of the conversation is just as you described. It was very cordial. President Zelensky went on at great length in one of the paragraphs about how he absolutely appreciated the friendship of America, how he absolutely appreciated knowing Donald Trump and wanted to get to know him better. I mean, it was extremely cordial. And when I read the goofy front page story on the Times News this morning that said in the first paragraph, President Trump pressed the leader of Ukraine to look into Joe Biden, there was no pressing of doing anything. These lies are absolutely setting me on fire this morning.
Oh, I know. It's just appalling to me the way they're treating our country. I mean, they're almost trying to decimate our national security.
Oh, and I got another question for you. I got a quick question for you. I want you to be in charge. You and George, you're our committee of two. You can go out and solicit other people to help you, but I want you to go find, please, someone today. Would you please do that for me? I want you to go find Hunter Biden. Where is he?
He's hiding because he knows he's going to get in big trouble.
Where is he? Nobody has seen him. Nobody has talked to him. They've talked to his daddy because Daddy Joe's on the campaign trail, but where's Hunter? Where's this kid that's an alcoholic and a druggie and has never been anything but a nothing burger all of his life, and all of a sudden he ends up being a multi-billionaire? Where is he? Please tell me.
You know, I think the first place I'd start looking is that Ford clinic they have down there in California.
All I know is, Donna, if this isn't, how do you go to the Ukraine and make all that money in a petroleum and gas company and then fly with Daddy on Air Force Two over to China and make another big business deal that's going to put a whole bunch of Washingtons in your pocket? And this kid has been a nothing burger. He's rode his dad coattails in politics and through politics to make a living, and nobody's asking the questions of him. Who should be on the witness stand this morning? It should be Hunter and Joe Biden.
Oh, I'm in total agreement with you. And, you know, if it wasn't for who he was, he would have been in jail a long time ago.
Amen. You know, I'm just upset about this morning because the American public doesn't act like they care.
So am I, Zeb. You know, and I know there's a lot of people who do care, but I think they're afraid to voice their opinion.
Oh, if that's the kind of society we live in where you're afraid to speak up, then it's already too late. Somebody's flushed the toilet and it's too late.
Yep.
All right, Don.
You're right.
God bless you, my dear. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day, my friend.
You know, that phrase might sound a little harsh, but it's true. If we're afraid to speak up, it's just like Lunch Bunch today. I have asked all the Lunch Bunchers to wear red, white, and blue. We are going to show our patriotism. I have asked, so you know up front, it's kind of a surprise, but I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I've asked the lovely Linda Croft, with one of the most beautiful voices anywhere, to sing, and we all will join in with some special, very patriotic songs. If someone's offended by that, I'll repeat that. If someone's offended by that, I'm almost looking forward to that confrontation. This is America. And I'm doggone proud of what I have been given, and the opportunities that have been afforded me in this great country. And I hate, underline that word, strong word, but I mean it. I hate anyone that will try to tear it apart. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Yeah, I know. Zeb, you're really upset this morning. Yep, that's tough. I want to give a good word about Patterson's Electronics, 421 East Main in Burley. They have everything over there for you, and they've got the Ring hardware in their system, no batteries, and you can see who's ringing your doorbell and find out what's going on outside your house. I like that. They've got the Ring hardware right there at Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley. I urge you today more than ever before to be very protective of your surroundings and your home and your environment. They've got the video surveillance cameras. They've got all of this and so much more. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, and I urge you to stop in. These are really nice people serving you. Patterson's at 421 East Main in Burley, 678-6997. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, I think there's a certain amount of people that watch this, and then there's a whole bunch that have quit listening to them because, they had lied for 2 years, and then the Mueller report didn't come up with anything. Anybody that wants to, listen to the conversation or read it between Trump and the Ukrainian president can do so.
Have you read it? Have you read it?
I haven't. No, sir.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to make a demand to you because you are very, very into politics and what's going on. I want you to read that. And I'm almost like a teacher. Wait a minute. I'm almost like a teacher to a student right now, demanding you read it so that we can talk about it on Monday. And I want you to give an unbiased assuming of what really is in there. Tell me. Give me your assessment, because if you can come up with any pressuring or anything that's wrong in that conversation, I will personally sit here and apologize to the entire state of Idaho and the world.
Well, it was read to me, and I listened, and sometimes it's almost better that, well, it depends on what time of day it is. Yes, I heard the whole thing, and I know for a fact that there was absolutely nothing. In other words, in the beginning, nothing was brought up about any of this. It was a second-hand thought towards the end of the conversation, and then there was pleasantries, and then they hung up. Yes, and they know it. But you see, again, the Democrats are so desperate. They just, it's just, they want to kill him.
Well, this morning, wait a minute. Did you hear the opening remarks of Adam Weasel Schiff? Did you hear it?
No,
Let me tell you, he got up. Well, okay, fine. But he got up this morning, Randy, and absolutely distorted everything. He distorted everything, and he made it sound, and it's not just me talking, I've talked to other people since then. It made it sound like Trump had issued a warning and had issued a threat that if you don't go along with this, boy, we're going to get you. That's exactly what Schiff said this morning in the opening remarks. And here's a paragraph I've got to read that was said by Zelensky on the telephone. Quote, "The issue of the investigation of the case is actually the issue of making sure to restore the honesty. So we will take care of that, and we'll work on the investigation and of this case. On top of that, I would kindly ask you if you have any additional information that you can provide to us. It would be very helpful for the investigation to make sure that we administer justice in our country with regard to the ambassador to the United States from Ukraine. As far as I can recall her name, it was Ivanovich." And anyway, what they're talking about here is that Zelensky is absolutely going hand in hand with Trump and saying, we're going to get to the bottom of this. There is no pressure.
No. And another thing about it, Zelensky admired Trump, and he used a lot of his tactics to get elected himself. And so, Zelensky, they hate Zelensky as much as they hate Trump. There's nothing here. And yesterday, Joe DeGeneva said there's absolutely nothing there. And Joe has never been wrong. Now, Judge Napolitano on Fox, he tends to be, I guess he thought he should have been, a Supreme Court justice, and he didn't get the shot, and he's never forgiven Trump for it. So he's constantly negative, and it's a shame that Judge Napolitano is that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree with your assessment, but please, over the weekend, get a copy so that you can make your own notations and highlights. And I'm just...
into my football watching.
Randy, what's more important, the pigskin or the president?
But I do Boise State, and so...
All right, buddy.
Yes, I will read it again. I'll have my wife print it off, and I'll read it again, and this thing should have passed just like everything else did.
Well, there's a couple of thoughts that what you just said I have a remark to, but I'm not going to say it, so I'll let it go. Randy, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, I tell you, I have taken so many notes in the last couple of days that I've got writer's cramp. And yet, this man... this head of the Intelligence Committee can start off a hearing this morning with lies and distortion, and really, nobody holds him accountable. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Zeb, the Democrats are running scared because the whole deal of that Jesta talking to the other president was the server for Hillary Clinton And if she falls, she's going to take a bunch of them with her, and that's what upset all this deal, and that's the whole gist of the deal as far as I'm concerned.
No, I think you're 100% right, and you're really onto something, because it's kind of like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute. Only in Hillary's case, she's got about 20 or 30 other people that are riding on the same parachute that she is. They're all going to go down in a blaze of glory if this investigation really is an investigation. But what they've done over the last 2 days with slamming and damning President Trump and saying he's a traitor, saying that he's committed high crimes and misdemeanors, saying that he used bribery to get his point across. I mean, my gosh, I've got the thing right here in front of me. How can they distort what really was said?
Well, I listened to that and read it, and there's nothing there that he pressured him into anything on the deal. And I'm like you; they're distorting the whole truth, and I believe because they're running scared. They think they have to do something now, big time. There should never be
going to the ballot box in 2020 one single person to vote Democratic, because of the lies, innuendos, and the absolute distortion of the truth. Those things right there should make every single person not vote for any Democrat. If any Democrat, whether it's local, whether it's a dog catcher, all the way up to a congressman, all the way up to the presidency, any Democrat adheres to their policy and goes along with what they're doing, they are not worthy of holding public office.
I think that real Americans are going to see through what's going on, and when it comes to the ballot box, it's going to come out the way God intended it to, and we'll have this nation back again for another 4 years.
I hope so, sir. No, I don't hope so. I pray so. Thank you very much. I appreciate your call.
Thank you, Zeb.
Thank you. I'm really incensed about this because, man, oh man, I mean, I know I'm a news junkie. I absolutely eat, sleep, and breathe the news, and I stay up and watch it till the wee hours and get up in the wee hours and everything. But all you have to do, and you don't have to be partisan about this, no, but just listen, and then read. Find sources that you trust and read, and you can piece this whole thing together. This is a giant charade. Here's what it is, folks. The Democrats got whooped in 2016, and they're spoiled brats. And they want to make sure that Trump is removed from office, and this is another ploy leading into 2020 that they think is going to throw egg all over his face, and the public's going to say, well, we can't have him in as president. Why we got to get rid of him? It's another ploy by the Democrats to take over power and control and absolutely destroy this country. Don't agree with me? Pick up the phone and call. Let's not forget Barry Equipment and Rental, Sales, Service, and Parts, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and the Nampa location. And, they've just got the equipment for you. I mean, I've been at all the locations, and believe me, they've got all the big on wheel loaders and excavators. Oh, these are big dudes that can really get the job done. And they've got all the bobcats. They've got all the equipment for the grading and the leveling and the lifting and the digging and the pushing and the carrying at Barry Equipment and Rental. Really, really great lease rates, and talk about financing rates to buy. They've got the best, and they are, again, Barry Equipment and Rental, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin, and the Nampa location for Barry Equipment and Rental. Time for the weather forecast quickly, and maybe I'll have a chance to cool down a little bit. Calls are welcome. I'll be right with you, caller. Stand by. Give me 60 seconds for the weather. I want to remind everybody about our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Absolutely, they provide expert diagnostic tests combined with the best technology to provide the most comprehensive hearing treatment available. Please call them. Make an appointment. 312-0957. They're right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Here's Gino with the weather.
Weather for for today is going to be nice, but as we get on into the weekend, you might want to think about pulling your garden. Here's a look at your weather forecast. We are expecting sunny skies for today. Winds out of the southwest at about 10 miles an hour are going to be increasing by this afternoon. Gusts as high as 30 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 75 tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 45 tomorrow. Mostly cloudy skies, then hopefully sunny by the afternoon. Still going to be breezy, high of 67. We do have a 40% chance of rain showers for Friday evening, increasing clouds throughout the night with a low of 69. Then for the weekend, 50% chance of showers are going to be in the forecast. Highs are going to be in the low 50s, lows in the low 30s. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Wow. I mean, break out the Snuggies. Our weather brought to you this hour by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And I've said many, many, many times they've helped me, and they can and will help you. Please don't put it off. Call them today for a hearing screening. 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Caller, you've been very patient. Thank you. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Well, after Trump's speech at the UN, he really outlined why they hate him, because he said, we're not going to be globalists. We're not going to allow socialism to take over this country. And he pointed the finger at all of these socialist dictatorships and what they've been doing around the globe, and really, told them how the cow ate the cabbage, so to speak. And boy, they just hate him because they want this one world government, have for 100 years, all of our lifetime plus. And I'll tell you, they're very dedicated. But what's scary is somebody right next to Trump is provided the information for the whistleblower.
Yes.
Even though there is nothing there, they're going to make a mountain out of molehill, and they're just lying about it, that he was going after Biden, and there's nothing in the transcript that says that.
The transcript...
Keep telling lies.
The transcript, I've got it. I know you probably have got it and read it. I've got it highlighted. And every time I turn on the news since yesterday morning and I hear the distortion and the lies and the added innuendos by the Democrats, honest to goodness, Adrian, I'm really concerned for the safety and the sanctity of our country and what it stands for, because the Democrats are nothing, honestly, nothing more than liars.
Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of them are just flat out Satanists. They've sold their soul to the devil, and he would love to destroy this country, the greatest country, as you've said many times on your program, the greatest country ever to exist on the face of the planet. And we as citizens are so privileged to be able to, for me to be born in this country, it's just a tremendous blessing.
Absolutely.
And we've got to let our neighbors and our friends be aware of what's going on, whether it's this global warming hoax or whether it's some of these other UN programs like Common Core. They're eating up our kids. Look at this 16-year-old.
Yeah, but whoa! I don't want to dovetail into something else right now, Adrian. I'm staying on this subject because it means so much to me.
They got to get rid of Trump because he is not a globalist, and they want a global one-world government under the United Nations. Get us out of the UN by passing H.R. 204.
I agree with you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Absolutely.
Okay, have a good bye now.
There is so much going on. And Deanne, my lovely bride, I really got to give her a lot of credit, folks. She has been so diligent in basically burning up our printer right here with all these different stories, all these different facts, and everything else that are coming across. And of course, we work diligently with a lot of people back in Washington, D.C., various news bureaus and information bureaus, and also New York. And I've just got to tell you that after all these things that I've read by very impartial sources, it's ludicrous what the Democrats, and especially this morning Adam Schiff, are trying to promote. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb. Not only do we not need the United Nations here, but if the Democrats do get control and they do try and do something mindless as try to confiscate our Second Amendment rights, they will bring UN troops in here, and that is a mess you really do not want on U.S. soil. And you're absolutely right. The Democrats want a socialist agenda. They have one. And now the roadblock in their way is Trump, and they will go to no means to get rid of him. I'll let you go.
I appreciate it, Riley. Thank you very much. One of the comments that was made over this was made by a character, a person that should be the least vocal about these problems right now concerning President Trump and, of course, President Zelensky of Ukraine. Now, you know who that person is? Oh, yeah, you're probably ahead of me. It's Hillary Clinton. Yesterday, Deanne was writing down different quotes and really going through the news and discerning who was saying what. Like Donna Brazile with the Democratic Party was saying, oh, well, it's very troubling what was said. And then she came across the quote from Hillary Clinton, and I thought, of all these stupid things for Hillary to get involved in and say anything about because of her involvement with foreign sources, her involvement with foreign money, her involvement with the dark side, she came right out yesterday and said, Trump has betrayed our country. Here's a woman that right now, honestly, there are so many things, so many items, so many cases, so much evidence that could be used against her in court hearings, Senate hearings, House hearings, everything. And for some reason, good Lord help me, I can't figure out why she has to testify a long time ago. And she comes out and says, Trump has betrayed our country. Like I said yesterday, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Now, the key word, serving, absolutely, and they've got a big fall tire sale going on right now. Listen, if you go in and check out a light truck tire or SUV tire, you could save up to $152 on some of their different sizes and, of course, different styles like the Terramax HT or the Backcountry All-Terrain. I urge you to go in and really save money during the fall tire sale. Now, if you're going to go hunting, you want to make sure your vehicle's got good brakes. They've got the best in brake service. You want to make sure the front end alignment, the shocks and the struts, and very key, way up there on top of the mountain with the temperatures going on the decline, a good battery. They've got the best at all 7 locations. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland in Burley. Yup. The best, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. I don't know, folks. I had at least 30 stories this morning to get into, but right now we've got some real problems. You can tell by the tone of the Democrats, whether it's Pelosi, whether it's the squad, those evil, sinister women, AOC, Tlaib, Presley, Omar, doesn't make any difference. Schumer, go on down the list. You know that they're going to milk this cow for all it's worth going into next year. They are absolutely going to do everything, say anything, or create something, keywords create, that they think is going to derail the Trump train. And all the while they're doing this, they are not doing one darn thing for you and I and our families and our future and our security. Nothing. There are so many bills and so many things that need to be acted upon, including the budget's coming up again real quick, and I'm sure they're going to overlook that and extend it. They're not doing a thing. Their main mission is to go get Trump. That's all they want to do. And they don't care if America gets hurt severely hurt with the outcome. Once again, we didn't get any calls from any Democrats. Gee, go figure. We're going to take a little break right now, and Wheels is going to turn on the network news. That ought to be really interesting and entertaining. Oh, brother. And then we'll be back in about 7 minutes, and we've got the Chamber of Commerce report. We've got, oh, my goodness, one of my favorite people, Rita Ramsey. We've got all kinds of good things right here on Zeb at the Ranch. Lunch bunch today at 11:30 at Denny's Restaurant. Be there, wear red, white, and blue very proudly. We will see you at 11:30 at America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant. Wheels, it's all yours. Oh, break out the long johns. It's going to get chilly. Oh, well, it can't because we're in the middle of this crisis with global warming. My. Morning. Welcome to hour number 2. Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you, of course, by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations in a great big fall tire sale right now serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And, of course, Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living, beautiful place at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. You know, in order to live that good life, you also, if you got some aching and paining going on, check it out with Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Now, I can tell you firsthand that these people are good. They know all the exercises to get you back to being you. Absolutely. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, 678-1191. Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists, all the exercises, the use of the hydrotherapy pool. It is good. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 678-1191. Want to remind you, Lunch Bunch today at 11:30. Wear the colors of our great country, red, white, and blue. And before I go to the Chamber report, I also want to remind you about our friends at Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff, serving you at 710 6th Street in Rupert with the telephone number, of course, 436-5636. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, it's a very sacred trust that grieving families put in a funeral director. And, of course, they know this at Hanson Mortuary, and they always provide the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort, and always with the highest ethical standards and unquestioned integrity. Please remember, 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary in Rupert. And Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morrison Payne on East Main in Burley. All right, it's time for the Chamber of Commerce report with the wonderful lady, the CEO, the president, the head of the whole shebang, Penny Main. Good morning.
Chief cook and bottle washer, too. You forgot to throw that in, right?
Well, I tell you what, I didn't forget one thing. A couple of weeks ago when I took a day off in between, but I asked you all about Howdy Doody and Mr. Bluster and everything. You didn't have the answers, so I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself first and foremost this morning, and I've got an easy question for you. What was the actress's name that played Donna Reed in the Donna Reed Show?
Donna Reed.
I knew she could handle it.
But now, wait a minute. In fairness, right? Yeah, you weren't there last week, and I had a question for you last week.
Uh-oh.
Now, if you can't answer it, it's okay. It's not that hard. But, so you remember the show Father Knows Best?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the lead actor in that show?
Robert Young.
Okay. That's good so far. Now, do you remember the show he starred in like a handful of years later?
Dr. Dr. Welby, Marcus Welby, MD.
Oh, you were so good. You probably looked that up. Did you know that off the top of your head?
How could I? Because you just asked me the question.
I know. I just have a feeling you knew ahead of time.
Oh my goodness! I don't have ESP. As a matter of fact, I've got ESPN, but I don't have ESP.
Me too, as a matter of fact.
What's going on at the chamber?
That was too easy. I'm going to work on something for next week.
Okay, thank you.
Believe you me.
Okay, now that we've got dead air for 3 seconds, are we going to talk about what's going on October 10th?
Let's do that. Let's move on with this. We've been talking a little bit about it, of course, but as you know, Congressman Mike Simpson will be in town October 10th at 12 noon at the Wilson Theater. It's our monthly luncheon, the chamber member luncheon. We're asking everybody to RSVP via phone. That's via phone here at the Chamber of Commerce, 679-4793. We anticipate a really good turnout, but in order to kind of accommodate the congressman, et cetera, for some of the things he's doing, we do need an RSVP by, I believe it's the 7th. So that would be Monday, October 7th. So if you're planning on coming, please call us here at the Chamber. We'll reserve a spot for you, but it's going to be a great presentation.
Okay. Now, what's going on with Mount Harrison Heritage Foundation?
Well, we love Mount Harrison Heritage Foundation. They're one of our members, of course, here at the Chamber of Commerce. I had the opportunity to see one of their shows last week, and they've got a couple of days left, tonight and tomorrow night, actually. But it is a great show. It's funny, it's sad, it's compelling, and it's called The Cemetery Club. And the bottom line, it's the lives of 3 women whose husbands have all passed away, and it is just a fun show. And I would just, if you're looking for just a little bit of great entertainment and chance to get out for an evening, please do that tonight and tomorrow night at the Burley High School Little Theater. Show starts at 7:30, doors open at 10, and it's $10. It's a great show.
It is the fall of the year. The leaves are turning, and the pumpkins are plump.
Yes, indeed they are, my friend. The Riverton Pumpkin Festival is this Saturday. Kicks off at 11 o'clock at Riverside Park right here in Heyburn. Again, lots of fun for the entire family. Free pumpkins, food, beverages, and all of the first responders will be here showcasing what they do day in and day out. And this will be a really good chance for you to bring your family and be able to meet the first responders. They'll be focusing primarily on safety, of course. So just a great event, a free event, and a great time for your family to come out and visit.
I like the way they phrase this. Grace Church presents the Race for Grace.
Yes, you know, Grace Church every year does a great 5K race, and typically they've given their money to the Rupert Police Department to use as they may, and all the proceeds have gone to the Rupert Police Department over the last few years. But this year, they're actually donating the monies that will be raised from this 5K race to the Minidoka and Kaja County Canine units. And it takes a lot of training for these canine dogs, you know, and a lot of commitment and a lot of expense. And so all the monies raised from this 5K this year will, again, benefit the local canine handlers.
Okay. Penny, I don't know what this caller wants to ask you on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, but we'll take a quick call. Caller, real quick, fast. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was wondering when she had Mike Simpson available to ask him when he's going to retire.
Thank you, caller.
Attend our luncheon, and you'd be happy to ask him then.
That's a good point. Thank you very much. Appreciate your call. I understand also that you're going to have the Great Big Pomerelle Ski Swap coming up.
Well, you know, this is a big deal. Idaho Water Sports has offered this event for many, many years, as long as I can remember anyway. And so just mark on your calendar, more details to follow, but it'll be October 24th through the 26th, a great time to upgrade your equipment. Maybe you've got some equipment you want to sell. So just kind of put those dates in the back of your head and remember that the Pomerelle Ski Swap will be held at Idaho Water Sports October 24th through the 26th.
You know, out in my garage, I have not only Toby's and Jake's, but I also, and you're going to laugh at this probably, but I used to ski. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I used outriggers They were about 18 inches long on my crutches, and then skis on both legs. And after a winter of skiing and covering the compass in all 4 points on every fall, I decided to retire, and I still have that. And so instead of selling them, I think they probably qualify going into a museum as old as they are.
I think that's awesome. I did not know that about you. That's really great to know. I love Idaho, and I'll leave it at that. But I am not a snow. I just have never gotten into skiing. I had one bad experience, and unfortunately, that was many, many years ago. And so it kind of leaves you going, oh, I don't know. But people are trying to encourage me to get back up on the mountain. But we'll see. It may happen. But
no, my strong side in the turns, was always my right side. And the devastation side was my left side. And so I knew I was going to make a collection on Blue Cross every time I went up there.
No kidding. Well, and you get my age and you recognize, some things are better just left on the mountain. I don't trust myself that much anymore, but we'll see. I may get on the Bunny Hill at Pomerelle this year. We'll see. That'll be about as high as I get this year, that's for sure.
Let me ask you this. I know that there are, last count, 973 ways to get a hold of the chamber. Tell us a couple of them.
Well, sure. I mean, we'd love to have you connect with us if you want to be a member, if you need some information, about what's going on in the community, or if you need maps or Idaho gifts, all sorts of things. We've got a lot of different opportunities here that we can offer you. But the bottom line is we want you to check out our website. We're kind of in the middle of reorging that a little bit and making a few adjustments and changes, so be patient with us. But head to our website at minnecassachamber.com. If you'd like to receive our weekly Monday Motivator, which is our e-blast that goes out to about between 700 and 800 people every Monday, kind of keeps you up to date on chamber happenings and things that are going on, we'd love to be able to send that to you as well. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, right here at the Riverside Park, and you're welcome to stop by anytime and visit. And if you need some more information or want to get hooked up to that Monday e-blast, just call us at 679-4793.
Last question. I'm going to put you on the spot one more time. That's a great way to end this segment. In the television show, The Real McCoys.
Oh.
What was Grandpa's first name?
Oh, Zeb.
No, it wasn't Zeb. That's wrong. Ding. Ding, time's up. Amos, you owe me $100. Thank you very much.
Dang, I don't think we shook on that agreement. I'm sorry, but, if you think I owe you $100,
I know. The check's in the mail. I've heard it before. Thank you. All right, Penny Main, President. Appreciate it. Chamber of Commerce, Minnecassett Chamber of Commerce. Great people over there. Thank you very much. I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. We're going to stop in there right after lunch today, as a matter of fact. I've got to stop in and see them, and I urge you to stop in, too. They're having a window covering sale. The blinds and the shutters and the roller shades, they're up and they're down. And, of course, 30% off on all the window coverings. You better stop in and see them today. And a closeout on some of their great mattresses, too. So get in there. And they've got all kinds of new furniture in there for your comfort. The place to go. Yep, with the nicest people. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Well, I have a moment. Now I got to tell you a story that absolutely, to me, it's funny. I know the bad guy won, but to me this story is kind of funny and very indicative of how silly green energy is, okay? Hang on. I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Let's Ride. Oh, my goodness sakes, yes. They have all the four-wheelers. They've got all the side-by-sides. They've got all the fun. I'm telling you, they're located at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Let's Ride. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. The 2020 models are coming in, and you can make great deals on the 2019s. Oh, and by the way, Great accessory department. They've got everything you need. And to keep you running, they've got an absolutely, and I can attest to this, great service department. Please get a hold of them today. Let's ride 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. I'm chuckling. I know this isn't really a funny story, but it hit me wrong. Yesterday, or a couple of days ago, down in California, the squad car from, Fremont, California, was in hot pursuit of a criminal. I mean, they're going, vroom! And then, all of a sudden, the officer behind the wheel of the squad car radios into headquarters and says, "We are terminating our pursuit." "Why are you terminating your pursuit?" "Our electric car battery is dying." I'm sorry. I hate green energy. I hate electric cars. I don't like anything to do with this. And here we go with a police officer in hot pursuit of a criminal on the highway, and he calls into the headquarters and says, "My electric car battery is dying." And the bad guy speeds away in a vehicle that is propelled by fuel. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, internal combustion. Thank God. Hey, I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, and he was talking to me. You know, we wanted to know why our elected officials, when you give people a position of authority, it always seems to go to their head. And he says he was very studied in the scriptures, and he said to me, he goes, men who are given authority tend to practice unrighteous dominion. And I said, I hope that I've never done that. You're trying to raise your kids, you're trying to do the right thing, but there is no purity. You say to yourself, are there any people left? And I don't think I'm great. I don't know what I am. I just struggle every day to do the right thing. There's enough bad going on in this world. We don't need to dive in and help out.
Yeah, but then on the other side of that coin, you would assume, and that word always is interesting, you would assume that the people that you have elected as officials to lead and help solve problems wouldn't create more problems, i.e., Adam Schiff. This man, along with Eric Swalwell and others, are absolutely disgusting. My lovely bride, Randy, has been keeping me informed of what's going on at this hearing, and she has sent me a note saying that Eric Swalwell, this disgusting little man from California that was going to run for president, and he did for 2 weeks, and then he figured out nobody liked him because he couldn't get any money. He won't even let Joseph McGuire, the head of the intelligence agency, even answer the questions. He keeps interrupting him and won't even let him answer the questions that are presented to him. That's how bad this hearing is.
Well, I don't think, if you look at the ratings of the hearing, you'd say, nobody's watching it, nobody cares. We've heard these, whatever you want to call these Democrats, they've been spouting forever, and they've never, ever said anything. And they're so, full of BS. It's not funny. And I think that people are out doing what they do. And, the busy, productive, God-fearing patriots are working. The losers who are, on welfare or living in their mom and dad's house or whatever it is, they might be listening, but they're probably on their phone, not paying any attention to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so here, sometimes when we're on TV, of course I've never been on TV, but I talk on the radio a lot, and I hope that I've never been delusional to think that I actually was more important than I was. Because I don't ever think that. Some days, like I say, I call in because it's therapeutic, and I always need therapy.
Okay, I like the way you said that. Very self-conscious of your needs. I appreciate that. God bless you, man. Thanks. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still chuckling about this Fremont, California police force. And, I think it's just so wonderful that Idaho Power in 20 years said they're going to go 100% green energy with wind and solar, etc. And here, the Fremont Police Department, I can just envision this like on television. Hot pursuit of a criminal. Yeah, car 54, we've got him in our sights. We're right behind him. And then about 30 seconds later, can somebody else please try to catch up with me? I'm fading fast. My car's battery is dying. And the police department said the general guideline for electric vehicles in the police department is that they should be at least half charged, half full with a charge at the beginning of the shift. And they said this particular vehicle was, but it slowly ran out of power. And the bad guy got away. Oh, I hate green energy. I don't think any of this is ever going to work. It's never going to be a benefit, except to the bad guy that was running away. He's sitting there with a smile on his face like a Cheshire cat. Anyhow. Calls, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir. So how would they jump for an electric car? Would they haul out a long extension cord to get it off the grid, or would they pull out a fuel-burning generator and plug it in?
Oh, my goodness, how dare you suggest such a thing? We're trying to go green, and you're trying to act like you know that we need to go backwards in time with a fuel-operated generator. How dare you say this, but it's a darn good idea.
Yeah. I seen over here at by the Wayside Cafe, that one service station there, and they put in 4 or 5 of those electric charging stations.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to see a car plugged into them.
Doug, let me ask you something. Of the people that you talk to, and I've only got 2 minutes here before I've got my next guest, but of the people that you talk to, what is the sense in these electric cars? We have a grid, an electrical grid that is almost overwrought, and yet we have the idiocy of Idaho Power saying they're going to go green energy and get rid of Valmy, Fort Bridger power plants. They're going to go green solar and wind and the very unreliable power. What's going to happen in the future when you overload that grid, and then you got the idiocy of electric cars?
Right, and I sent you a paper, a year or 2 years ago, about what it taxes the grid.
Oh, yeah.
Electricity is used when you come home at night and plug in an electric car.
Yeah. I
can't remember what it is.
Operating the toaster and your electric shaver is going to be a thing of the past.
Exactly.
Hey, by the way, honestly, what did you think of that story? This just shows how dumb we're becoming in this country to listen to the environmentalists. Here, a bad guy runs away from a crime and gets away from a crime because an electric car battery fails. This is ridiculous.
Well, he committed 2 crimes there. The one they was being chased for, and the other one for running a carbon-burning vehicle.
Yeah, but he's away today, and the cops are sitting there trying to figure out how to get this thing regenerated.
I know it.
All right, buddy. Got to run. Thanks.
Hey, one quick thing, too. The Democrats are wanting to take our guns away from us.
Yep.
And I seen something the other day, that a little statement asking them, well, take it away from the criminals first, kind of as a trial run to see how it works.
Yeah. Did you hear quickly, and I shouldn't do this because Rita's waiting, but I'm going to say this. There was a hearing yesterday in D.C., and a congressional hearing on guns, and one police chief testified that he wanted to see all the guns confiscated and all the guns taken away from the American citizens. Well, right after he testified, a lady that is a former police officer, now retired, was asked to speak. And she said, "Don't even think about it. If there's a confiscation of guns, I will not comply."
Good.
Absolutely.
Good for her.
Absolutely. Got to run. Doug, thanks.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to also remind you quickly about Cameron and Siemens, Highway 24 in Rupert, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. Woo! These people are good in serving you. Very dedicated and accessible. Get a hold of them today. Call 436-4424. I'll say it again. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Right now, to add some sanity to the madness, here's the lovely Rita Ramsey. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm real good.
Got to ask you right up front, even though you're at your desk like 24/7, 365, have you had a chance to listen to this idiocy? That's what it is, and I'm not going to back up from it, that's going on in Washington right now.
There's idiocy going on in Washington? I can't even begin to imagine that.
Did you happen to hear the opening remarks of that hearing this morning from Adam Schiff? That little liar, and that's what he is. I'm not going to back up. He lied and distorted everything that was said on that phone conversation between President Trump and President Zelensky.
Well, that's because he's using his own interpretation, which I can interpret something, you can interpret something, and the next guy can, and we'll have three different accounts. So we do know that Adam Schiff is going to lie his way and make everything look like that it's bad. If you get the real information and read it, you find out that it's kind of like, okay, so President Trump's congratulating the new president on his victory. He's also saying, you know, in the past there's been a few things that are disconcerting. Do you have some corruption maybe you ought to look into? Just because we want to make sure that who we're dealing with is on the up and up. And of course that's not good enough for the Democrats because they want to make something out of it, and there is nothing to be made out of it.
Well, did you read the transcript?
I listened to it, and I have a copy of the whistleblower transcript in my thing. I listened to, and I had a copy of the Trump transcript. I did not totally read it, but this I will say. When the Trump one came through, and you look at everything, it's kind of like, and so this is bad. Why?
Yeah, I've got it, and like I said first hour, and I said also yesterday, I have, thanks to my wife, I've read through it, highlighted it, I've got every single copy of every single document that was provided from the hearings and everything else over the last 24 to 48 hours. And in no way, shape, or form am I ever going to accept by anybody, any Democrat, anyone, that this was a telephone call that was mean-spirited, pressured, or was absolutely soliciting something as a demand. No way. This was a very cordial conversation, and many, many, many times during the conversation, President Zelensky thanked United States government, and especially President Trump, and said, quote, "You are a great teacher for us."
Well, and this is the part that just really boggles the mind of the Democrats, because they can't imagine doing business in any kind of a way that isn't, you know, nefarious and bad and only good for us, not good for the guy we're doing business with, and that type of thing, because they are so corrupt. They can't even imagine that somebody would do something, and it like I said, They were just grabbing for straws. There's one more thing. I was listening to talk radio yesterday afternoon, and I can't even remember who it was that made the comment, but they said, the part that's really, really funny about this is, what was last week's story?
That's right.
We were going to impeach who?
Yeah.
Kavanaugh.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
All of a sudden this week, we're going to impeach Donald Trump.
It's kind of like the flavor of the month or the flavor of the week at Baskin-Robbins. I mean, this is ridiculous.
What they do is they put one thing out there and see if it'll go somewhere, or they put one thing out there and all of a sudden it's discredited and they're made to look like idiots, and so they jump to the next thing. And so I don't know what it's going to be next week, but I'll bet you that this doesn't go very far now that all this is out, and it's kind of like, oh, shoot.
No.
Now we're going to look really stupid here again.
I don't know. I've got my doubts about this going away fast, and I'm not trying to disagree with you at all. I'm just really concerned. You know as well as I do, Rita, that this is nothing more than a ploy that is being enlarged by the media because they're in bed with the media, the left is, to do nothing but throw dirt and aspersions against the Donald Trump campaign for re-election.
Well, that's true, and the reason that I start wondering this is because we've got a number of Democrat people who are running for president, and there's going to be lots of questions asked them regarding this.
Yeah, that's right.
This is going to be nothing but bad for them. In fact, I've got a story here that's just brought out today on the thing that says, Warren stumbles when asked if her new ethics plant would have prohibited the Biden's Ukraine dealings. And she said, well, I'd have to go back and look, but, and here she is. It's like, we don't want to have questions like that. That's just going to make it look worse. And when the more we dig into that, the more Biden's going to be brought up.
Yeah,
so,
no kidding.
I don't know.
We'll talk about that, Joe Biden and his son, in just a minute. Caller, good morning. Quickly, you're on the air.
Isn't the whistleblower's word hearsay because he or she wasn't in the room?
Absolutely.
The court of
Absolutely. You are 100% right. And this is a point, lady, stay on the phone. This is a point that the American public is having it glossed over. It was another person that gave this other person, quote unquote, the whistleblower, this information. I want to know who the other person is. I want to know why the leaks are taking place in this administration like they are. And nobody is really too concerned about what's going on with the origination of the rumor itself.
Exactly. And I'm watching this hearing, and nobody has brought up the fact that the president of Ukraine or the leader of Ukraine is the other half of this conversation, and maybe he didn't want any of it out. So what other countries' leaders are going to want to talk to President Trump if they know that this is what...
And your point there is, again, very astute, because this is going to be a big hazard to national security. And like you said, who is going to want to talk to the United States if they know the Democrats are going to want to subpoena or go into a hearing of their conversations, which may be very private and privileged?
Exactly.
Thank you for that point. I'm glad you brought it up. Rita, respond to the caller. She is spot on, and I said this yesterday. This is going to be a national security issue.
Well, it definitely is, and with the things that she said, that's right. I had actually printed off part of this complaint from the whistleblower, and it says, over the past 4 months, more than a half a dozen officials have informed me of various facts related to this effort. Information provided herein was relayed to me in course of official interagency business. I was not a direct witness to most of the events described. However, I found my colleagues' account of these events to be credible because in most cases, multiple officials recounted fact patterns that were consistent with one another. That's the witness that we have saying he heard and knows that this happened.
Yeah, but okay.
It's all hearsay from, well, so-and-so said this and so-and-so said that. Well, you know what? I can be a pollster and go out on the street, and I can take a poll from 100 people. And if I have 25 that say what I want to hear, I can say, well, from 25 people that I polled,
yeah,
they They all felt the same way I did.
Yeah, but it goes back to, like, I don't know if you were listening again yesterday when I said it's like two women talking, and the one woman says, hey, did you hear that Betty cheated on winning that cake baking award? And then it goes and it's perpetrated, and it's all hearsay. It's all hearsay. And this is what this thing is with the whistleblower. The real origination of the problem, they're not going after that.
Well, they're not, and they're not showing any credibility, saying, I'm the guy who witnessed this. I will swear under oath that this is the truth, and here are the facts. It's like, oh, well, we're taking a poll from all these people, and they're thinking, well, maybe I should file a complaint as a whistleblower.
And you know who really is sitting in the background, honestly, I believe this, smiling like the cat that just caught the mouse, and that's Joe Biden and that drug-addicted son of his, Hunter Biden. They're the ones that are laughing at this because they're completely, right now, out of the spotlight.
That's true, and if I was Hunter Biden, I think I'd be on a plane headed to Venezuela or someplace that...
Well, where is he, Rita? Where is he?
People like me.
Where is he?
That's a good question. I don't know, and I don't know if anybody else knows.
No, but really, you've got Joe Biden, the former vice president of the United States, long-time senator with a lot of influence, and you've got a kid that is absolutely a zero, a nothing burger, and he's been, it was thrown out of the Navy with not very nice discharge because of drug addiction, drunkenness, and everything else, and all of a sudden, my goodness, a bolt from the heavens turns him into a great, astute businessman and millionaire. Huh?
Well, this is the part that's really sad about it. Is this is the way the world works anymore? Is if you have connections, you've got to in. The big problem is, and I don't understand why the Democrats don't know that we know this. Is everything they accuse somebody of doing on the Republican side, that's what they're doing.
I started chuckling because you're spot on. You know, remember 1998? Do you remember 1998 with Nancy Pelosi standing at the podium and saying, why, the Republicans are trying to hurt our country by impeaching Bill Clinton? And then Chucky Schumer got up and said they're just absolutely destroying the fabric of America. And then, of course, Joe Biden stood up and condemned the going after President Clinton. Gee, Rita, how times have changed.
Well, if I was a filmster guy, and I have a nephew who is, he does many advertisements for many networks. A person ought to go in and put down, okay, today this is the date, and you put the date on there, and you hear them saying all of this, and it's bad, and da-da-da-da-da, and then you go back and you put the 1998 one and let them do that and say, this is really interesting how all of these policies have changed just because of leadership in the White House. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter whether it's impeachment. It doesn't matter whether it's border concerns. It doesn't matter whether it's the budget and the debt. It doesn't matter one bit. They're totally on the other side.
Yeah.
With whoever's in the White House.
But you know,
one to the other. They don't say, you know what? I said this was bad then, and I say it's bad now, and I haven't changed my mind.
Absolutely.
That's what integrity is and honesty. But they don't do it. They just go with the flow, and whenever it's something they should be against, I'm against it, and then, a few years pass, and it's in their lap, and they go, no, I'm for it, and, they just have no sense of saying what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
I want to talk to you about we the people in just a moment. I'm going to do a quick weather forecast. We'll be right back with Rita Ramsey. Don't forget our weather brought to you this hour by Phillips Oakes, Goodwin, Crane and Company. And they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. I mean, big time professionals. They can help you, your family, and your business. Tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, financial statement preparation, bookkeeping services, retirement planning. Woo! I'm tired already. The list goes on and on. They are good with offices in Burley and Rupert, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Weather for today is going to be nice, but as we get on into the weekend, you might want to think about pulling your garden. Here's the look at your weather forecast. We are expecting sunny skies for today. Winds out of the southwest at about 10 miles an hour are going to be increasing by this afternoon. Gusts as high as 30 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 75 tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 45 tomorrow. Mostly cloudy skies, then hopefully sunny by the afternoon. Still going to be breezy, high of 67. We do have a 40% chance of rain showers for Friday evening, increasing clouds throughout the night with a low of 69. Then for the weekend, 50% chance of showers are going to be in the forecast. Highs are going to be in the low 50s, lows in the low 30s. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb and Duran.
It sounds like you better break out the parka. And our weather brought to you this hour by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. The best of accounting services for the Minicash area. Offices at 1710 Overland in Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. Rita, we the people of the United States. Okay. For the last 2 years, nothing has got out of Congress, the Senate, or the House because of the ridiculous investigations, the Mueller report, and everything else. Now that that's been put asunder, you know as well as I do this now with the telephone call to President Zelensky of the Ukraine is nothing more than a hyped-up time delay going into next year's elections, so the Democrats are going to try to do all they can to throw one of their pretty boys or pretty girls into the Oval Office. I am sickened by this, and I hope the American public can see through what they're doing.
Well, I think they can, and Americans are so tired of all of the stupid accusations by the Democrats and most of these things are so frivolous that it's not even funny. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, President Trump brushed his eyebrows today. I mean, there are such stupid things that they're accusing a president of doing that he shouldn't be doing, that absolutely nothing's being done. I was listening to a fellow on early morning radio this morning, just a little after 6, and he was actually promoting what they're doing is he's got a foundation. He's a millionaire guy, and he's promoting a foundation that he has set up to try to help rebuild the Bahamas and a lot of things that are going on there. Because of his being nominated as one of the as an ambassador to the Bahamas in the last 2 years, there has been absolutely nothing go forward that he would be confirmed or otherwise, yet he has received all kinds of death threats, and people have come and tried to burn down his house all kinds of things. He's from California.
Yeah.
And he said, it's really sad with what's going on that the Democrats won't do any business at all. And he said, so for 2 years, my name has been out there, and I've neither been confirmed nor denied whether I could take that post.
Yeah.
And that's sad because he's not the only one that's happened to. There are numbers of them out there that have been nominated. They want to go forward with this. They want to get their, the things going. And here's an ambassador for the Bahamas. And look what happened with the Bahamas last week. And that ambassador could be doing a lot of goodwill stuff, trying to help them get rebuilt, if he was on the other side being the ambassador instead of just, well, I was nominated to be the ambassador, but there isn't really a lot I can do, red tape-wise.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, because you are, and I say this out of extreme politeness, you're a news junkie like I am. There are so many pressing things that need to be done in the House and in the Senate chambers. And the budget is coming up for renewal. and nobody's talking about it, and I know they're going to have to file for an extension. There are so many other issues, whether it's illegal immigration, whether it's our security, whether it's ISIS and some of the purported threats that are here in this United States right now. Nothing is being done for us. It's just nothing but a bunch of crybaby Democrats crying foul to extend their problem into the election year so that they can absolutely, out of pure hatred for Donald Trump, try to get him defeated.
Oh, that's absolutely right. In fact, it was suggested that somebody said it hopefully in jest. It didn't sound like it was in jest to me, but it was actually saying, well, we think that before the election starts, that they'll convince Donald Trump to resign, and we'll be voting on Pence. And so it'll be kind of like, okay, well, we can have Pence, but we can't have Donald Trump. It doesn't matter who's the president is. The Democrats are going to be just so rabid about everything that they do and say until it's their president.
Let me ask you this, and I want you to try to be nonpartisan and very impartial. Please. Can you tell me, literally, without whether you like the president, his character, his personality or not, what has he done wrong since he's been in office?
Oh, I'll tell you what he's done wrong. He's made all of those legislatures look like a bunch of dweebs because they won't take their hands out of their pockets, they won't say anything, and they won't do anything. And he's the only one making any kind of progress, putting America forward. The rest of them are just sitting around going, oh, dear, I wonder if we should do something. And so he's making them look bad. And it doesn't matter whether they're supporters or whether they don't like him. He's making all of them look bad because they won't do anything.
I couldn't agree with you more, but, you know, when you really look at his meeting with all the different country leaders at the United Nations and all the different agreements that were negotiated, all the good things that are coming from other world leaders, and this absolute insanity being perpetrated by the media saying, oh, the whole world hates Donald Trump, that is a bold-faced lie, and somebody ought to be popped in the nose for saying that.
Well, they should, and the other thing that's really sad about it is Donald Trump is the ambassador for America to all the other nations in the world, saying, hey, I'm here to promote my country, and we're going to do what's best for us. You can get behind us or you can be against us. It doesn't really matter, but we're going forward, and what's going to be best for our country is what we're going to get. Not, cowering, saying, oh, I better not say anything or they might be mad at me.
Absolutely. I take it from what you said that you feel that this is not going to go a long time through the House and possibly even to the Senate, and you think that maybe the Democrats might see the light and drop this impeachment.
Well, the main reason that I feel that way is you hear maybe a half a dozen Democratic voices, and you're not hearing any other Democratic voices join in.
Yeah.
So it's almost kind of like, would you just drop it already? And look at the number of House of Representatives that won in the last election by just a hair. And when there's stuff like this going on with Nancy Pelosi and the others, that means their job is probably finished at the next election.
And I can't hope for anything better than that. I am so livid after watching that lying little weasel, Adam Schiff, that it's disgusting that we have that kind of representation in our Congress. Rita, I've got to run, but I want to say thank you. It's really good to talk to you again, and I'll look forward to next week. Thank you so much.
Okay, real good. Bye.
God bless. Thank you. Rita Ramsey, and always look forward to having her on the program for her honest appraisal of what's going on in politics. I'm hungry, and I know some great places to go if you're hungry. and starving to death. How about the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley? Listen now, they've got burgers of all types. Fish burgers, and they got the hamburgers and the cheeseburgers, and they got the famous Farmer Brown burgers, and they got all the fries and the tater tots and the special sauce and all the shakes of the different flavors. I am hungrier. Stop into the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley? Oh, what a good place. Have you tried those street tacos? The taco shell, choice of meat, either steak, pork, or fire-roasted salsa chicken, choice of cheese, taco sauce, everything. Pico de Gio salsa. I love that stuff. Absolutely. Stop in or have a new pork burrito or a breakfast burrito at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, here we go. Two locations of Burgers Etc. These are great people at Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. And listen to this. I'm telling you, after 3 p.m. in the afternoon, corn dogs or burritos just $1.39. You can't beat that with a board. No, you got to stop in and try it. Great food. All the food on the menu, fantastic, at Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. And last but not least, Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. Food made the way you love it. Now, with the weather forecast saying it might get into the 30s, it might not be open this weekend, the patio, but you can go inside and stay comfy and warm and enjoy all the delicious food off their menu at Steve-O's, including the delicious buffalo burgers and the cheesy broccoli spuds and the cupcakes. They've got all kinds of cupcakes. Great people at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. Food made the way you love it. And those are just some great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. I'm drooling all over this microphone. Coming up next hour, we've got, with the Cassia County School Days, Burley Junior High teacher Jessica Johnson is going to be calling in. Then our business salute, we're going to be talking to a really, really nice man, Trent, over at Les Schwab Tires West. And then we'll round out the program with a couple of stories, and then I'm headed for Lunch Bunch at 11:30. We're going to turn it over to Wheels right now. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Oh, my. Good morning on this Thursday, September 26th. Zeb at the Ranch, and, of course, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big fall tire sale going on right now. Stop in and see them today. And don't forget some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And that leads me right into Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living. Absolutely. You know, if maybe caretakers or caregivers have to leave for a couple of days and they don't know who's going to take care of their patients, I'll tell you what, why don't you just absolutely call Greystone Crossing, and if you need to be out of town for a couple of days, they would welcome your loved one to the home environment at Greystone Crossing for a short stay. Absolutely. Your parents will join the full-time residents for all the meals and the snacks and the housekeeping and the local transportation. I'm telling you, caregivers, remember this. Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. And, of course, I always go with the tagline, call them at 208-650-4979, Seniors Living the Good Life with Friends. Well, it is time for Cassia County School Days for this week, and I understand that we're going to be talking to a teacher from Burley Junior High School. Jessica, what?
I was just going to let you know that I haven't had her call in yet.
Where can Jessica be? And I hope she calls in very, very soon.
Give me 1 second.
All right, thank you. I believe that might be her coming in on the line right now. We will check and see. Wheels, what about it? Did we hit a home run or not? I believe he's still on the line. Jessica Johnson is our guest this morning from Burley Junior High. Is she there?
Yes, sir, she is.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Jessica Johnson. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Well, give us a little background of yourself at Burley Junior High. What do you teach? Give us a little history about who you are.
Sure. So, yeah, I teach 7th grade and 8th grade Earth and Life Science. This is actually my second year teaching. I taught last year at Mountain View Elementary, 6th grade. And I have actually only lived in this area for a little over a year now, so I'm still trying to learn the ropes in the Burley area.
Okay, now, learning the ropes, fine, but where are you from originally?
I am actually from Missoula, Montana, which is about 7 hours, depending on how many pit stops you make along the way. It's about a 7-hour car drive.
Absolutely. I've been there many, many, many times. And, of course, I've always said you got to be tough to live in Montana because of that cold winter. And this is going to be your first winter here. Is that correct?
It'll be my second winter here. I made it through the winter here last year. I say made it through, and I'm like, it was mild compared to what I'm used to. So.
Let me ask you this. I heard from Debbie Critchfield that helped line this all up for us that you've got a different approach to your students than many teachers. Tell us about that.
Yes. So I have been, like I said, I've been teaching this is my second year. And one of the biggest, I think, challenges for every teacher, regardless of if it's year 2 or year 20, is classroom management and getting those behaviors kind of down to a science. So I have been implementing this concept. It's called restorative practices, and it's based out of a nationwide program called Restorative Justice. And really what the goal for restorative practices is to teach kids to repair the harm that they do when something does go wrong in the classroom or in the school. The focus is placed on fixing the harm, understanding the behavior behind, or the reason for the behavior, and then moving forward with the student so that we can keep them in the classroom and in school as long as we possibly can, and not having repeated behavior.
Okay, now, you've opened up a Pandora's box. We need you to explain more. Okay, let me give you a scenario, and then you tell me how it's handled or not handled, okay? You've got a student that absolutely is rude, and he's going to be talking while you're talking. Or we have a student that's going to be intimidating another student during the classroom activities. What are you going to do?
So a typical traditional approach to that would be, if a student is, I'll just go with the first one, with student being rude and talking while you're talking. The typical traditional approach is, okay, you're talking in class, you get sent out. But restorative practices really tries to focus on repairing the harm in the moment and having logical consequences. So if a student is being rude in class, typically their goal is to get kicked out of class. They want to be removed from that environment. And so rather than saying, okay, you need to get sent down to the office, what you do is, or what I do, what I would do in that situation is I would give them I give them a behavior reflection sheet. And it's just for them to simply write their thoughts down. And on that reflection sheet is questions of, what happened. So it gives them a chance to explain in their own words what happened in the moment, and then why did it happen. And then that really takes the shift to understanding that behavior, because all behavior is communication. And so we're trying to learn what is it that's causing this behavior so that it doesn't happen again. And then the next question is, what do you need to do to fix it? It's who was affected by the behavior, and then what do you need to do to fix it? And so what that does is it makes the student aware of the fact that their behavior doesn't just affect them, it affects the teacher, the class, their learning environment, and it's on them to fix it. It's on them to repair the harm that they've done.
Okay, but let me interrupt you right there, and please do not think that I'm attacking you or your position on this, but I think it's worthy of a little bit of a debate. What do you do with a student that absolutely is hardcore? And you know doggone well that there are those students out there that when you say, sit down and write your thoughts down and everything, they're going to look at you and they're going to go, not today, sweetie, and they're going to ignore that. What do you do then?
Yep. So you do make the effort to try to do it in the moment, but sometimes it doesn't work. And so our typical, school model is, okay, if you have an incident in class, you can have a 10-minute detention with the teacher before or after school. Well, then the student doesn't show up, and so then they end up getting a consequence such as like a lunch detention or a Saturday school that ends up being kind of the follow-up consequence. And I'm not saying that those things aren't sometimes the answer. There are some times where, that we've tried all of these things. We've tried to uncover the behavior. We've tried to figure out what's going on. And if it has to escalate to that, then, that's when you do get in your principal and you do enforce consequences such as a detention. But a lot of times what I have found is that when kids are doing that in class, if you're willing to sit down and talk to them about it or have a conversation of what's going on, they're usually willing to unpack that behavior with you. There was something going on at home that day that maybe caused them to snap in your class or just whatever. And so it provides an opportunity for you to sit down and really learn about what is going on. Again, it's not always going to be effective in every scenario because there are times where the solution is they need to be removed from the classroom. But the goal is to focus first on keeping the student in the class if you can and fixing the harm on the spot.
All right, but Jessica, you know as well as I do, and I'm not trying to beat this dog to death, but the fact is that you're taking time away from the class and the class structure of the teaching you want to give to the class to try to reevaluate the one student. It doesn't seem fair.
Right, but I mean, whenever there is a disruption or whenever there is behavior going on in the classroom, you're spending that time anyway. And then inevitably what ends up happening is if you do send a student out, of the classroom to the principal, they do come back, but they come back and they're disrupting it, the next day. And so you're kind of just spending that time every single day dealing with that behavior, whereas if you put a little more time in initially at the get-go, there's a chance that you're kind of front-loading and you're saving yourself some time later on in the week.
I heard from Debbie, and I really salute you for what you're doing as far as when the class starts, you stand at the door, and when these kids come streaming in, some on skidding almost by the door, you stick your hand out and shake hands with them. Explain that.
So every class period, we have about 4 minutes in between our classes. So like our first period class, second period class, there's a 4-minute time. And so I just come stand right out in the doorway, and every single student, and they know an expectation from me is that they are to look me in the eye and shake hands with me before they're allowed to go to their seat and work. And there have been some kids who kind of try to sneak under my hand, but I always catch them and they get pulled back out. And what that does is it teaches them this very basic skill of greeting them, and this is how you walk into a job interview. You have to sit down and shake the person interviewing you. You shake their hand, you make eye contact, because a lot of these kids have cell phones in their faces all the time, and they don't know how to act when they're face-to-face with another human and what is the logical steps of having a conversation.
Oh, you have I wished I had another half hour to talk to you. When you mentioned cell phones, you turned the key in the lock that opened the lid on an atomic bomb with me. I absolutely think every single cell phone should be thrown in a basket at the desk of the principal when they walk into school and not given back until after school's over. Am I wrong?
Yeah, the cell phones can definitely create a very challenging environment, and that's kind of what a part of doing this, shaking their hand, restoring relationships is. It's teaching them communication, because it is a skill that is just kind of technology is really affecting how kids communicate. And so you're wanting to teach them how to do it in the right way so that when they're on their cell phones without, an adult supervising them, they're saying nicer things than what they would say otherwise if they didn't know how to communicate.
The thing I've noticed, and I'm not saying this in all cases, I'm not going to include everyone in this so parents don't get upset. But I do a lot of speaking around the Northwest and a lot of times at schools and everything. And I really notice the difference with students that I will go up to, and some of them will shake my hand, and they'll put a grip on, and they'll look you in the eye and they say, "Thank you, Mr. Bell, for coming." And then there are other students where they'll walk up and they act like, "I'm kind of sorry you're even here," and they'll kind of limp wrist you a little bit with a real weak handshake, and they'll look at the floor and walk away. Those kids I feel sorry for, because it gives to me the personality that they really are never going to succeed at life because they don't put forth an effort.
I do think that just having that basic greeting, which is why I make sure that I greet them at the door, because I always want to be modeling the things that I'm expecting from them. And so I have noticed this change. I started out with, really weak handshakes, and now, noticing some of these kids are, firming up their grip, and they're making an effort to make eye contact, and it's this really basic skill that seems so easy, but it will,
When you hear the moo of a cow on my program, Jessica, it means we have a caller. So we're quickly, and I mean really quickly, going to take a call. I've only got a minute left. Go ahead, caller, quickly.
Okay. Well, I was just curious, if you have a situation, how do you recognize, LGBTQ, and if, are microaggressions something that you recognize? I know the children come here with ideas in their heads, but you see, here in little old Burley, Idaho, we're pretty traditional. And are the children understanding American history? I understand you're a 7th grade teacher, but still. And then, are they consumed with global warming and environmentalism, or are they going to just learn how to grow up, be a responsible person, have a family, get married to the opposite sex, and just do the right thing? I'll hang up.
Respond to the caller, please, quickly, Jessica. I'm almost out of time.
Yeah, you're good. It was hard to hear parts of it, but I think that the question at the end was about, are kids concerned more with, environmental, or is it just teaching them to be responsible adults? And, my answer to that is I don't have control over whether or not they'll be interested in the environment and things like that. I want them to. But, whatever field they pursue, if they, end up working at a grocery store, or if they end up working in a hospital, or if they end up working in a classroom themselves someday, I do just want them to be good citizens who do contribute to the world in a positive way.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to come back on future programs. I'm going to mention to Debbie Critchfield to schedule you again, but you better be ready when we start talking about earth sciences, because I'm going to have my ducks in a row. I hope you do too.
Okay.
Jessica, I really like you, and I think you did a good job on the program, and I send out a salute to you for the way you're greeting your students. Jessica Johnson at Burley Junior High School, thank you very much.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thanks. Nice lady right there, and we're going to have her back. I can guarantee it. We have every Thursday a business salute, and I take a little bit of time and we get away from the politics and all the other stories, and we pay tribute to a lot of the great advertisers and sponsors of this program and find out a little bit more about what they're doing, etc. And we have on the phone line right now a gentleman that absolutely is the head man at Tires West, Les Schwab, and he's got a great personality, and he loves to serve people, and that's Trent over at Les Schwab on Overland. Good morning. He's not there?
I'm still trying to get him on.
I hate that when I hear you say, sir. Thank you very much. Keep trying. Don't give up. What's the problem? They can't find him? They're looking for him.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Let me know when you get him. please let me know when you get him. This will give me just a little bit of time to remind everybody about Lunch Bunch today at 11:30, absolutely at 11:30 at Denny's, America's Diner. One dead fly, I just got him. And we're going to be there at 11:30, and we ask you to wear red, white, and blue as we celebrate patriotism for our great country, the United States. We've got a lot of door prizes to give away, and we want to thank all those sponsors: Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, Denny's, many, many more. Thank you for all your help and support. We appreciate it. Lunch Bunch today at Denny's, America's Diner at 11:30. Wheels, do we have him on the phone?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Met this man probably 5-6 months ago, I think it was, and I'm very impressed with him, as I have been for a long time, of all the Les Schwab Tire Centers and all the managers. Trent, good morning at the Tires West Les Schwab in Burley. How are you?
Zeb, doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Well, not too bad. You know, the thing I've noticed, every single time I go in there either to see you or have some work done, holy smokes, it reminds me of a giant anthill with thousands or millions of ants running here, there, and everywhere serving the public. How do you keep up with everything every day?
We just keep it simple, and we stick to the basics. Zeb. That's what Les has taught us, and we still stick to his values and his core his core training that he did for us.
Let me ask you, Trent, you said his training and his core principles. I'm assuming then that you had a chance to meet the man before he passed?
Yes, sir. I met him 2 or 3 times. Great man. He's a great family man, and he had a great vision, and the way he takes care of his employees and especially the customers and our community support that they allow us to do. It's just all around, just a great, great man.
I, too, had the great chance, if you will, to meet him in Prineville, Oregon, years ago, and thought he was just absolutely an amazing man with a dream that really came true. But tell us, what's going on with all the Les Schwab Tire Centers? Are you growing and going into more areas around the United States? Tell us what's going on.
Oh, we are. We actually we just opened up one of our newest states. We're going into Rock Springs, Wyoming, so that one's getting ready to actually be getting opened up. So that's exciting. Definitely hitting more and more of the Colorado, Denver area, and going into Southern California too. But we're also opening up some new stores in existing markets too that are just really, really booming.
Tell us a little bit about the service. I've noticed that all your representatives at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, boy, they open the door and they come out at a high lope saying, "May we help you?" Boy, it's got to be hard to find these great, great people.
We are, and that was Les's vision. We build our own people, and we find great young men and women that are eager to serve and love to help people, and we train them, and we stick to like what we call it the Les Schwab basics. It's a 10-step deal, but most time it's just we just have fun teaching them, and we take care of them. They work hard for what they get, and they're very well rewarded. It's like, I can't emphasize enough of how great a company this is to work for.
You know, right now, you're involved in a big fall tire sale. Now, I have said on the ads that I do for you daily, there's a lot of things going on. The kids going back to school, mom and dad running to soccer games, football games, volleyball games. People are either coming back from hunting already or they're planning on a big hunting trip. There's a lot of things they need to watch for before they leave, and tires, number one. This fall tire sale, tell us about it quickly.
Oh, it's a great deal. It's you're saving up to $152, in a set of tires. The fall sellers. We also have just not only tires, but we have some special on wheels, specials on alignment center, shocks and struts, everything like that. They'll get you ready. And, also we got we're loaded up and ready to go for snow tires. It's going to be around the corner here. So the fall sale has always been a really, really good, exciting time for us at Les Schwab. It's one of it is our biggest sale, I feel, and it's just a fun time right now. Like you said, we got hunting, fishing, football, everything. And by the way, game day for the Packers today.
You know what? I am very impressed with your memory and reminding me of that, because you are a Green Bay Packer fan, correct?
No, unfortunately, I am 0-3, so I'm with Denver Broncos.
Oh, I wasn't going to bring that up, but I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, Yeah, but no, our fall sale is going great. We're very busy, and all the Les Schwabs in the Magic Valley love to take care of everybody.
You know, I really want to tell you the personality of all the locations, whether it's Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, or you, Trent on Overland. The personality is that of service, and you really care about your customers, don't you?
Yes, we do, and service is what it's all about, and we strive for the best.
Well, all I can say to wrap this conversation up, Trent, is I thank you, and you guys at Les Schwab are fantastic, and I certainly hope, and I really mean this, that Denver wins at least one game.
I appreciate that, and thank you to you, Zeb, and you're just a great person in our community, and we just love having you.
God bless you, man. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
What a nice man over at the Overland location, Tires West, Les Schwab, Trent, and we really appreciate him. I do feel sorry for him because the Denver Broncos 0-3. Anyhow, my Packers play the Eagles tonight, and it should be a good game. We are, at this juncture, going to send it over to the main studios. Wheels is going to quarterback this break, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, my. Lots and lots of things going on. And, of course, first and foremost, as we've talked about for the last 2 days, it's the very unpleasant story of the Democrats. A little worm floats in the water, and believe me, they bit it hook, line, and sinker on the possible impeachment charges against our President Trump. And the use of the phone call between the Ukrainian president and our president, trying to twist and turn and lie about the basic facts so that they, the Democrats, can just absolutely go after Trump and hopefully on their part, they say, ruin his reelection and basically get rid of him as president. This is absolutely going to be a mess for a time to come, and we're just going to have to live with it until the Democrats finally see the light, which they won't unless it's a train coming at them head on. I got to tell you about 16-year-old Greta Thunberg of Sweden. You know, she was the 16-year-old girl that testified at the United Nations the other day, and it was I said it, I meant it. She should win an Academy or Emmy Award for her performance. It was absolutely better than most actresses that are highly trained. And she absolutely, you're stealing our childhood. Those of you that don't believe in climate change or global warming, oh, you're killing the planet. And she railed and railed and railed and railed. It was a very orchestrated speech. And her presentation was faultless. I agree with that. But it was all staged. It was all staged. And since then, if you didn't know this or were aware of it, she has been designated to receive what's called the Right Livelihood Award. It's also known as an alternative Nobel Prize. 16-year-old, highly trained little actress in her, oh, the world is coming to an end and we're all burning up and you stole our childhood. Oh, my. It was pathetic. My grandmother used to say, ay, 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 ay. And she's being recognized for, quote, unquote, being inspiring and amplifying urgent climate action. And she also gets a check for $103,000. If you think for a second that there's not anything to worry about, anything to fight back about, I have no idea why you're still listening to Barry Manilow in your headsets. There's a lot that you need to get involved in. There's a lot that you need to stand up and let your voices be heard. But a 16-year-old that has no clue, no come here or sick'em idea of what's going on, and the United Nations propels her to the top for a Nobel Award and $103,000. Oh, boy. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I would love you to give me a call and talk about that one. It's unbelievable. By the way, congratulations, and I mean this, to students at an Alabama high school that stood up and said, hey, you know what, government? We are sick and tired of letting the atheists and the people against religion tell us what to do. Well, at an Alabama football game about a week ago, the students, and I want to really emphasize that, the students led, before the game started, all the other students in the audience with the Lord's Prayer. The anti-God people were going nuts, and they were burning their hair and yelling and screaming and saying, they can't do that, they can't do that, and yes, they can. And any superintendent or principal that says they can't, he is wrong or she is wrong and doesn't know the law. The Supreme Court has reiterated many times, if it's student-led prayer, you can't stop them. And my hat's off to this Alabama high school that gave thanks to the good Lord before their football game, and they said, yes, we can, and they did it. Good for them. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, Zeb, talking about people that keep accusing President Trump of this and that and the other thing. I believe in the old saying from the Bible, judge not lest you be judged. And I'd like to see someday where these politicians who have been getting away with insider trading at making profits of up to 25% on it are exposed. Mm-hmm. And those people ought to be criticized and gone after. I don't care whether they're Republicans or Democrats. They need to be exposed this way. Even the ones that are on the Republican side that hate Trump are going to learn to keep their mouth shut, or the sunshine's going to shine on them.
Boy, you're asking for the impossible as far as I'm concerned, asking for a politician that's fairly established to keep his mouth shut. That's impossible. How dare you?
I know I'm a rotten guy, but once in a while it bothers my conscience.
No, you're not a rotten guy at all. It just absolutely seems like it's got to be in the water back there on the Potomac, back there in D.C., that when they get fairly well established, they are holier than thou. They know everything. They are the king of knowledge. And I get so sick of their attitude. They're supposed to be working for us. They're supposed to be serving us. And quite frankly, I think they didn't get the memo.
You know, if you and I did it, according to what I've read, it's a 20-year penalty. And these guys are still going.
Well, I'm not even going to eliminate the Idaho crew back there, because there's some of them that I think it didn't get the memo either about serving the public and doing what their constituents want. It just seems like politics is dirty today. It's absolutely dirty, and it needs to be washed, maybe twice or three times. And that means getting rid of some of the dirty laundry that can't be cleaned. And I'll tell you what, I'm in favor of term limits and getting rid of a lot of these people that shouldn't be there.
Well, you get tired of talking about all this garbage that's going on. Excuse me.
Are you there, Tony? All of a sudden, we lost the connection. I have no idea what happened. Wheels, did he hang up the phone, or what's going on over there, old buddy?
he didn't hang up. I wonder if he just put it on mute because he was coughing.
Oh, I'll bet he did. I'll bet he did. Tony, if you can hear me on the radio, we lost you, old buddy, and I'm sorry. You had some good points. Due to the fact that we have lunch bunch today, and due to the fact that yours truly doesn't want any more speeding tickets, we're going to do the weather so I can get out of here a few minutes early. So right now I'd like to tell you that the weather is being brought to you by our friends at Scarro's Meats. Don Scarrow and the whole crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Or you can go to their website and see all the delicious meats at scarrowsmeats.com. Absolutely phenomenal. Marinated pork ribs, tri-tips, all the different bacons and the sausages and the bratwurst. Oh, my goodness. I love it. I love it. You will, too. Call Scarrow's Meats today, 324-7657. And right now, here's Gina with a really changing forecast.
Weather for today is going to be nice, but as we get on into the weekend, you might want to think about pulling your garden. Here's the look at your weather forecast. We are expecting sunny skies for today. Winds out of the southwest at about 10 miles an hour are going to be increasing by this afternoon. Gusts as high as 30 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 75 tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 45 tomorrow. Mostly cloudy skies, then hopefully sunny by the afternoon. Still going to be breezy, high of 67. We do have a 40% chance of rain showers for Friday evening, increasing clouds throughout the night with a low of 69. Then for the weekend, 50% chance of showers are going to be in the forecast. Highs are going to be in the low 50s, lows in the low 30s. That's a look at your weather forecast. For Zeb at the Range.
Oh, Gina, thank you. Man, oh man, break out the long underwear and the parkas. Look out, it's going to get cold. Our weather forecast brought to you by our friends at Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The telephone number to call, 324-7657. And it is so true. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time at Scarrow's Meats. We have an outstanding program lined up for next Monday on the show, and I'm just going to tell you this a little bit. We got Sargis Sangari coming back. Now, if you'll recall, the last time this gentleman was on the program, we have to be very, very careful. We can't say where he is or where he has been or anything else. Have to be very cautious. Richard Manning is going to be on the program again talking about this extreme, befuddled, absolutely idiotic mess going on with the Democrats. And then we have former House of Representatives from Colorado, Tom Tancredo, is going to be back on the program with us. Looking forward to his comment about what's going on with the lunacy back there with the Democrats. And then also my good friend Gregory Wrightstone. We're going to be talking. He was at some of these radical displays over the last couple of days with all these kids protesting and getting out of school. And I believe he was there when Greta Thunberg of Sweden made her speech. And we're going to have him on at 10:30 on Monday. So lots and lots of things happening on Zeb at the Ranch going into next Monday's program. We, just a few minutes ago, had Trent, a dear friend of ours from the Oberlin location of Les Schwab Tires West. And I want to tell you one more time that Les Schwab, all the Les Schwab Tire Centers in Magic Valley, are in the middle right now of a great big fall tire sale. You can save up to $152 on a set of 4 select light truck and SUV tires for your vehicle. Stop in and check it out today on the Backcountry MT or the Backcountry All-Terrain. Many, many tires are on sale. Check it out today at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, along with the best in brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. Batteries. Make sure and get a battery check. And they're all there serving you. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Trent, we just heard him a minute ago, on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire tire centers. I thank you, all of you, for being a part of the program this week, and we'll put together a lot of information over the next couple of days to have it ready for you on Monday. And I'm going to be taking off a little early right now. Wheels, our dear friend and engineer, is going to play a little music so yours truly can get on the road and drive safely to Lunch Bunch, and we'll see you there. Red, white, and blue colors, too. Don't forget that. The way things were are the way things ought to be. And remember, in God we trust. See you Monday at 8:06.